Right, onto the Springboks, Rob. Yes, the Boks really need to now make a statement in this return clash in Argentina, or this time in Buenos Aires. Don't have the best track record. I mean, they've really scraped through in previous encounters. A number of changes for the Boks and for Argentina. I mean, Argentina is safe to say this is a full-strength side. You know, guys like Lobe are back. Yeah, what do you make of the South African side? And yeah, how do you see this one going?
I'm nervous about the game. I don't think I'm the only one. I think there are quite a few people thinking that it's possible at this point that Argentina go into this match as slight favourites. I'm not wild about the Springbok side chosen, to be honest. I know a lot of it was dictated by injuries and the need to sort of have a look at certain players. For instance, Willem Albert's coming back, one of Heineke Meyer's old favourites, going back to a traditional sort of blindside bruiser, bringing in a sort of a big specimen to try and give the Boks a little bit of a rumble. You know, that they need badly to sort of make an early statement, I think, physically in the game. Let's hope there isn't a scrum in the third minute, because that might mean the Argentinians are the only ones who make the physical statement. But if the Boks can get sort of, you know, some driving mauls and things going quite quickly and get Eben Etzebeth properly fired up, along with somebody like Alberts who comes in and adds, you know, a formidable amount of sort of ballast to the mix, then they might be okay. But you know, there are lots of very untried combinations. So it carries the hallmark of a team that's got a little bit of a semblance of panic to it. Is the way I would describe it. You know, 7 or 8 changes is a lot of shake-up to be doing in the week before you play an away reverse fixture against the team who've just beaten you. The Springboks have also left it quite late to travel to South America, so it's going to be interesting to see, just from a sort of a, you know, how the body clock adapts point of view, how they do. A few players who are very rusty. You know, Lwazi Mvovo comes in for a pretty rare start. Trevor Nyakani is getting his first, I think it'll be something like his 16th cap and only his 2nd start. So it's a lot different fronting up, you know, at the start of a match than coming on as a sort of impact substitute. Having said that, I endorse his selection. I think it's a good idea. I think he's shown on previous occasions when he's come on, he's always done pretty much what's to be expected of him from a scrummaging point of view. Added a little bit of stability, actually. Late on in games, but the big test obviously comes when you do run out at the start and you play for perhaps 60, 65 or 70 minutes rather than just those 10 or 15 at the end. So lots and lots of uncertainties. I think it'll be very vital for the Boks to get a good head of steam early. If they get behind, then the Argentinian crowd are going to get right behind their side. They're going to be very emotional anyway, because they're so elated about you know, events in South Africa. They see this as a triumphant homecoming for their side. Apparently it's something like a 50,000 capacity stadium they'll be playing in, so I expect it to be pretty close to full, if not full to overflowing. And a big test for again a fairly rookie-looking, unstable sort of Springbok combination. The best we can do is hope that certain individuals sort of suddenly come to light, and that, for instance, a Pat Lambie grabs the game by the scruff of the neck, which is something that Andre Pollard, who's been a little bit iffy with his form of late, hasn't been able to do. If that happens, then the Boks will look a little bit more secure. But you know, we've fallen back on players like Zane Kirshner, which is, I think, you know, a pretty controversial move. I'm not sure that takes Springbok rugby forward, with due credit to the game that he does offer. But he has known limitations as well, and I was a little bit surprised by him getting a start. So I don't feel particularly confident. I've got a feeling that we'll do very well to win this one, and I'm going to go Argentina by perhaps 2 or 3 points.
Oh dear. Darren?
All right, that's
what do you make of the changes? And I guess, yeah, you know, having Pat Lambie at number 10 will sort of help try and settle this fly-half debate. Zane Kirshner, I mean, to be fair, he's had a good season for his club in Ireland. And yeah, I mean, the loose trio, they're still tinkering, experimenting there. The midfield, the back three. So, I mean, it looks like it might be down to the pool games of the World Cup before they've really sort of consolidate their World Cup team.
Yeah, no, it's difficult what to make of this team. You know, you've got 7 players who haven't played Test rugby this year playing in the final match before the World Cup. You know, I think South Africa on a little bit of a hiding to nothing here. You know, we should have in the past expected to go to Argentina and beat them. They're like the 8th ranked team. We were until last week the 2nd best in the team. There's a massive gulf in talent. They hadn't beaten us ever before until last weekend. Now we're sort of looking, will we win, will we lose? Are we even favourites heading into this game? You know, the bookies last weekend had South Africa to win by 20 points. This week they got them to win by 5. So it shows they haven't got a lot of faith in them either. If they do win, you know, people will go, it's Argentina, what did you expect? They were never going to beat us twice in a row, having never beaten us before. So, I'm happy with Lambie. I think he's a good pick. Pollard has disappointed me this entire year, not even just in this rugby championship. In Super Rugby, I think he's been a bit off colour. I would have liked to see Rowan Pena benched as well. Sean McLeod maybe coming in, getting a start as well. I know there are a lot of injuries.
Sean
Kobus Rana. Sorry, Kobus Rana.
There we go.
The other Sharks scrum off. Kirshner, he's a little bit of a bolter, even though, like you say, he has had a good season in Ireland. Lawasi and Vova as well hasn't done a lot, hasn't got a lot of game time. I think that's the key. The Sharks, when they last played, were knocked out early in Super Rugby, so nobody was playing throughout the playoffs and then the weeks after that and the earlier matches in the Rugby Championship. So a lot of these players just haven't played. I guess with Jean de Villiers' broken jaw, that at least we'll see Jesse Kriel and Damien Delende again at centre. I expect them to go well. They have gone well together as a pairing. But again, in the front row, we've got Trevor Inyakani, Bismarck benched for this game. Again, it's Adrian Strauss probably deserves the start. He's sort of having to have come on in the sort of the 50th, 60 minutes of every game. There's not a lot you can prove when you either way ahead or way behind there. So I think it's good that he gets a start. Willem Alberts, I believe Hanneke May is only going to give 40 minutes too. So we're going to have to make some changes. Again, that disrupts the team.
Yeah.
Depends what the match situation is at half time. And not to forget that Argentina have made, I think, 7 changes of their own. So, but again, like you said earlier, it seems like they're a little bit more settled. And for their final match ahead of the World Cup, they've actually gone with their strongest lineup, if you like. They've got their first choice scrum half back. They've got Hernandez, who played at fly-off last week, moving into the centres to bring Sanchez back. He's a pretty good kicker as well. So I think they sort of know what they're looking at. They've got Jean Imhoff at wing again, scored a hat-trick against South Africa, first time in 124 years anyone's done that. So I think they'll have a lot of confidence. Again, at home, the crowd will turn up to congratulate them for their performance the week before. They might even have the class of 1965 there as well. They seem to do wonders for them as well. So I'm a little bit worried. I like to think, the heart says that South Africa should win. I'll be horrified if we lose 2 matches and head into a World Cup. Suddenly that first game against Japan, they'll fancy their chances as well. So I can't see a scenario of that happening. So I'm going to go for South Africa to win. It's going to be ugly. Those that stay up until 9:40 South African time to see kickoff, might be in for the worst evening of their lives. But I'm going to go for South Africa to sneak a sort of 5 to 7 point ugly victory. Hopefully not many injuries. I think that will be key as well. We certainly don't want to pick up injuries, which will be 5 weeks ahead of the kickoff.
Yeah.
Those players might well then be out of the tournament if they do pick up serious injuries. So South Africa to win for me, but win ugly.